Hello, and welcome back to the Talking Apron, where we are all about helping you manage your health with diabetes with confidence. Today, I'm going to be talking about some real-life scenario that can be tricky for anyone with diabetes, and that is eating out. We all love an occasional dinner out, or maybe you're someone that eats out frequently, but it can come with a side of stress when you're concerned and managing your blood sugar, right? So don't worry, I've got you covered. Today I'm going to be sharing a few diabetic hacks for eating out so you can enjoy your meal without that worry of what's happening to your blood sugar. And we're talking about simple, practical tips that will let you savor your dining experience while keeping your diabetes care on point. So go ahead, go grab your cuppa, and let's get started. First up, who am I? Well, my name is Ann Bernardin, and I was teaching high school nutrition when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And I was age 50, so I'd lived a lot of life, and now here I was with diabetes. But there's a whole lot more to my story, but that's not why we're here today. We're going to skip over that and get to the topic on hand, and that is eating out. There are 3 different segments. The first is planning your superpower. The second is be a carb detective. And the third covers the power of portions. So in this first segment, as a type 1 diabetic myself, I have learned that planning is a serious superpower when it comes to dining out. And this doesn't mean you have to know every single detail about your meal ahead of time, but having a rough idea of where you're going, what kind of foods there are, can make all the difference. And here's what I do before going out. If I've been invited out and it's someone else is choosing the restaurant, well, I go ahead and look and check out the menu online ahead of time. Most restaurants have their menus online these days, so you spend just a few minutes scrolling through and then identify a few blood sugar-friendly options, because you still want to have that taste and flavor of what you're feeling like, but pick out 2 or 3 so you can find them easily and so you don't get overwhelmed. And what you want to look for is look for that lean protein that you like to eat. Look for the side that has either vegetables or a salad, and you want to see that they have healthy fats. So something drenched in a big cream sauce may not be it for you. And that way, when you get to the restaurant, you're not caught off guard and scrambling to make a decision and flustered because they're waiting on you to order. The next is you can call ahead. Now, I've never really done this because I have found some really good options. Restaurants are really paying attention now. But if you're uncertain about certain ingredients or portion sizes, don't hesitate to call the restaurant ahead of time. And I'm not talking about right during their busy mealtime at 6. I'm talking about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Most places are happy to accommodate your dietary needs. Ask them if they can swap out fries for a side salad or offer salad dressings and sauces on the side. It takes just a minute, and it can help you feel so much more in control when you get there. Now, I'm on insulin, so I've got to pay attention to when do I dose myself. And usually I wait until I order, because when you're at a restaurant, it takes time. And generally I need 15 or 20 minutes. If you think it's going to take a little longer, then you wait a little bit more to take your insulin. But if you're on other medications that require you to wait or eat at certain times, just plan around that when you're setting up the when you're going out. Eating out can totally throw off your timing if you're not careful. So use that time, plan around your usual eating schedule, and that way either insulin or your other medication is working when you need them to. And you want to bring your supplies with you. Make sure you know what your blood sugar is before you're eating out. So planning ahead may sound boring, but trust me, a little prep work makes your whole experience more enjoyable because you're not worrying. Now, this next segment is about being a carb detective. And that's what I mean. You want to search out where the hell are all those carbs? Carbs aren't the enemy. They're a necessary part of our diet, but we need to keep an eye on how much, what kind, what are we eating, especially when we're dining out, so we can make appropriate choices. Restaurant portions are often larger, and we'll talk about that a little later, than they are at home, but those carbs can really sneak up at you. So here's what you do. What you first want to look at and order from are your protein and your vegetables. Look and make sure that you have a good solid base, like grilled chicken, fish, or tofu. Then you want to look at the non-starchy vegetables. And you're setting yourself up for a good balanced meal. Think leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini. Helps fill you up and keep the blood sugar levels more stable. Now, if your meal is carb heavy, consider splitting the portion in half. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, hidden sugars. Watch out for the hidden carbohydrates in sauces and dressings. They often contain a surprising amount of sugar. Now, am I meaning table sugar? No. I'm meaning carbohydrates. So a sweet vinaigrette on a salad, yeah, they may have more sugar than you realize. So you're going to ask for the dressing and sauces on the side. But sauces like ketchup, barbecue sauce, or even a hollandaise on it, you've just got to pay attention and do the taste test. Ask for some on the side so you'll know what you're getting into when you eat the sweet and sour chicken. Well, of course that says sweet. That's going to have carbs. Now, what this does, you just have a mental calculator as you're detecting where are the carbs going to be so you can choose what carbs you're going to be eating. Do you want the sauce or do you want the bread? Do you want the starch or do you want the dessert? Next up is the starches. Bread, pasta, rice, potatoes. Yes, they're creamy and delicious, but they can send our blood sugar skyrocketing. So when you order, again, swap out or choose the roll, but not the potatoes. So, and you also want to take that refined flour product and maybe find a whole grain instead. Brown rice, quinoa, even a baked sweet potato without all the brown sugar on it as an alternative. Or you could just ask for smaller portions, or you take half of it and you're going to save it for when you get home. It's a small tweak, but your blood sugar will thank you later. Now, here we go to the appetizer. Don't skip it. It sounds counterintuitive, right? But by choosing a smaller appetizer, it can start letting your body know you're eating and get you satiated faster. And I think choosing a protein with a little fat is better because then those digestive enzymes start digesting the protein. So when you get your main meal, which may have carbohydrates in it, your digestive process is already going on the proteins and it will digest the carbohydrates a little bit slower. And having an appetizer will definitely take the edge off your hunger, so you'll be less likely to overindulge when your main course arrives. Now, this last segment is the power of portion control. What do I mean by that? Not overeating. Let's be real. Restaurant portions can be huge. Now, I'm a small person. I'm an older person, and I love to eat. But I still have to watch my portion control, and we've all been there, staring at a plate that could easily serve 2 or 3 people. But instead of trying to tackle the whole thing, one of my best hacks, the number one portion control, is as soon as the server comes with my plate of delicious hot food, I ask her for a takeout container. And they'll look at me perplexed, and I'll say, "Please bring it to me now." I may be a little assertive. They'll be confused. But then I do the half plate trick. I divide it in half right away, and I'll put the other half in my to-go. Usually it's maybe 2/3, maybe 9/10, and I just leave 5 fries and bring the rest home and share them with other people or have them over a couple days. But it's usually the starches that I definitely remove at least half from my plate. And then the protein and vegetables, I'll just take a look and see how much needs to be removed. The next is order 2 different meals with whoever you're there and have one that may be a little bit carb heavy and then the other that may be, let's say, leaner protein, salad, etc. And you can choose to then share. Share the meal so you're splitting up the carbs and getting to taste something a little bit different. Now, if dessert is calling your name, sharing is definitely the way to go, but you can also skip the roll, skip the potato, and have your dessert. You can still have something tasting sweet when you share it without committing to the whole piece. Or maybe you do the same thing. You ask for a to-go container and you split the piece of cake, your favorite, in half and have it another day. Another idea is check to see if they have maybe smaller, lighter dessert options like fresh fruit or a sorbet. Now here's your bonus. You're going to eat slowly. Take it slow. This is a super easy hack. You're dining out with friends, a loved one, have the conversations. It helps slow you down. Take bites and chew. Respond to the conversations. This technique is mindful eating. It's great for your blood sugar. Eating too quickly can cause a blood sugar spike, so take your time between bites. It helps to prevent that spiking. And finally, enjoy yourself. Eating out is meant to be fun, social. It's enjoyable. Give yourself permission to relax a little, to savor the moment. With a few smart strategies in place, you can have a great meal without the stress of worrying about your blood sugar. And there you have it, my friends. Some of my favorite hacks for eating out as a diabetic. And it's all about planning ahead, being a little mindful of the carbohydrates, controlling portions. But most of all, it's about enjoying yourself. Thanks so much for joining me on the Talking Apron today. I hope these tips make your next dining experience a little less worrisome and a lot more delicious. Remember, you've got this. And as always, I'm here cheering you on every step of the way. If you liked this episode, I have a more detailed restaurant-ready hack sheet that has over 20 ways to keep your sugars in check before eating out. And you can find the link in the description to this podcast. It'll subscribe you to my weekly newsletter, which keeps you informed about different things I've been reading and researching about diabetes and when the next podcast is out. Stay confident, stay healthy, and I will see you the next time.